Hey, beautiful party people. Uh, I could talk about this all year long. Using your voice to program reality. It's literal magic. Did you know that the word abracadabra is actually ancient Aramaic for I create as I speak? You can actually use your voice to program reality, your subconscious mind, your belief systems, your conscious experience. The words that you choose, both in your head and out loud, create the experience that you are having. It's really good news because you're in charge of choosing the words that you use. Mostly. Sometimes we're using the words that are just coming through our subconscious programming, right? A lot of times we say things without even realizing we're saying them. So it's just like anything. Until you realize you have a choice, you don't really. It's a paradox, but until you understand that there is a choice there, then you can't make the choice. Everything's on automatic. Everything's on default. We speak and use turns of phrases that are sometimes hurting or harming us, and we don't even know it. I'll give you a few examples as we go through, but this is just the most exciting stuff to me. That's why I'm currently sharing that I'm a voice activation coach. And a lot of people assume that that has to do with just like light language or maybe speaking your truth, but it is so much deeper than that. It's about literally programming your experience of the world, your entire reality through the words that you choose. And it is so much fun. We can do it in so many ways. I want to give a few practical examples of what that looks like as well, and how it works in the energy. I am just coming off a really incredible session where I was actually working with another person who uses voice activated technology to program, clear, heal, change reality. And her name is, can't even remember her last name, but on TikTok she goes by Cat and Boots 138, and she's absolutely fabulous. And she shares so many free healings. And the way she describes it is that basically reality is just this like computer program, and to access the source code you just say spirit, and then you will use the wording after that to shift and change things. And the way she phrases things is really beautiful. Spirit, if it's in my highest good, please, cleanse, clear, purify this system. We did a lot of work on my personal self, but then also some fun things with the water of life. We were clearing out old contracts, cords, agreements, moving soul fragments around, merging things together, unmerging them. It was pretty esoteric. I'm not going to get too much into that, but the work was really fun. What I have done throughout my lifetime, I've just been introduced to Kat recently. What I've done is often use the word universe, and I did it in the very same way as Kat. I've also studied techniques like belief repatterning that will reprogram your subconscious mind with the words that you say, moving through these different steps. I have studied things like access bars, where again, you're using the words that you are saying to shift and change things first in our own experience, maybe in the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, shifting our belief system, shifting our awareness, which then shifts the reality and our perception of it. We're all meaning-making machines, and what we believe, what we say, what we think, and what we do, they're all really related. Although, of course, we are co-creating, right? So the way that we choose our words shifts our energy. It's really interesting. I want to give an example that I am really noticing in friends and family because someone else noticed it in me and told me to cut it out. My word choice a few years ago often implied or said straight up, I should do this, I should do that, I should do this, I should do that, I should. I was shoulding all over myself. And my beautiful friend and coach at the time, Virio Carnavin, pleasure coach Virio, another belief repatterning practitioner, was like, would you stop shoulding all over yourself? And I was like, what? You are shoulding all over yourself. And she noticed that it was just moving my energy into this more and more contracted state. She's like, she told me, you don't have to do something just because you think you should. Do it because you want to, do it because you need to, right? If it's essential, but you can either shift your perception of it so you can get to be excited about something, or just don't do it just because you think you should. It was a game changer because I had been shoulding all over myself for my entire life. I had some Catholic guilt programming in there. Oh, I should do this, I should do that. And it was never enough, by the way. Let me know in the comments if you can relate to putting a lot of pressure on yourself because you should do things a certain way or it should look like something. It's all this external pressure that you are then placing upon yourself, placing judgments upon how something should go, how something should look. And it warps our experience and we give it all of this value when it's actually completely unnecessary, believe it or not. So now I have the understanding that when I'm saying, oh, I should do this, there's a pressure energetically that's coming from outside of myself, but it's still me. It's like, have you ever seen the meme with the kid with a boot on his face, but then it zooms out and his own arm is in the boot that's on his face? It's exactly like that. We're putting the pressure on us. So when you should all over yourself, you are contracting your experience into something that is not what you actually want, right? You are not living in alignment with what your heart and your soul is actually desiring in that moment. You're living out somebody else's energetic desires, right? Whether or not they're in your highest good. So I'm able to notice this in my field now, typically because I've spent a lot of time looking for it. But what I really notice is when one of my clients sitting in front of me starts to shit on themselves. I should do this, I should do that. And they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they don't even know they're doing it. Just like I didn't until I pointed it out to them. And then they're like, oh yeah, like we don't even notice because it's a subconscious program. And so when we shift the wording that we use, it powerfully changes our energetic experience of the reality. So if you're thinking that I should do the dishes, let's just use a very innocuous example. Oh, I should do the dishes, I should clean my house. You have two choices. You could either not do those things, but I mean, they do eventually need to get done. Yes, right? We understand that. But what if you could change the perspective, change the energetic frequency based upon the words that you are sharing, the way that you are speaking into it? It shifts everything. What if you could flip it to be like, oh man, I'm so lucky that I get to do the dishes because I have enough food to eat. And I created this nourishing meal for myself and my family, right? That's a totally different frequency to get to do something, right? As opposed to having to do something. So on the very practical level, what I want to invite people to do always is to just bring conscious awareness. Bring your conscious awareness to the words that you're saying and how they make you feel. A really easy way to notice is, does it make you feel like you're contracting in, or does it make you feel expansive, right? When we notice the energetics of it, it shifts everything. So the wording behind, the meaning behind the words is what shifts the energetic frequency. For you, a word might be really neutral, but for someone else, it might have this like energetic ickiness. It might have a lot of loaded past baggage, and you get to choose what words are going to feel good for you to program reality. But we can, this is another fun one actually. I'll share, when you say something that you realize you're like, oh, I don't want to put that out into the world, where you're like, oh man, it's so slippery out, I'm totally going to get into an accident. And you're like, what did I just say? Okay, if my words create my reality, I don't want to put that out in there. So I do this even with my kid. I'll say, just say clear, cancel, delete, right? Just scrub it. You can take it back, right? And then it's very helpful, instead of just clearing it out, put something else in there. Speak out loud, or in your head if you're feeling like you couldn't say it out loud. I'm going to be arriving at my destination safely, on time, happy, right? Well, you're co-creating the world, and something might come out of left field, and maybe it is, in your highest cosmic trajectory that you might get in that accident that day, but it actually, you meet the really hot doctor that you actually wind up marrying, and blah, 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 right? If it's in your highest and best good, it's going to happen regardless. But you are also this magnet for experiences, and you do have some control over co-creating reality, right? You're not in charge of all of it because we're in a co-creative experience, but what you are doing is shifting the frequency at which you are experiencing the reality, right? Are you saying and programming out the worst things that you want to see, or you're programming the experience that you actually want to have, right? We can't fully control all of those outside circumstances. You've heard this before. You can control how you react to them, right? This is what I love to work with people on, because your reaction, how you respond to an external circumstance, is going to be based upon the belief system that you're holding about that entire situation. So we can go in and we can shift the belief system that's behind something as well. That is where the magic happens. And basically, you can completely change your perspective. You can change your perspective from everything bad always happens to me, or, good things usually happen to me. And if something that, I perceive to be bad is coming at me, it's probably the exact right lesson that I need to head to the next level. Like it's going to be exactly what I require. It doesn't negate the bad, quote unquote bad. It's all neutral, right? The bad things that happen, but it shifts the perspective. So something can come at you and you're like, ooh, cool. What kind of opportunity is this? What am I going to learn and grow from this? And I also get that we are tired of learning and growing, and we're tired of having to be resilient. But we did sign up to have a lot of growth and a lot of healing in this particular lifetime. So starting to pay attention to the wording that we're using and how it's affecting our energy levels, how it's affecting our frequency, is going to change everything, right? And sometimes it's easier to go beyond words, man. That's why I also like to work with something like light language, because we're working beyond the words, beyond what all of the mental constructs are. So we can go right to the body, right to the soul, and then we can use our voice by pure frequency and tones to move energy around, right? So there's so many different ways that you can use your voice to program the reality. You can use your voice with affirmations, right? Like, I am going to do this stuff. Sometimes though, the subconscious mind is not going to get that. So an affirmation like, I am a millionaire. Your subconscious mind's like, yeah, no, but no, you're not, right? And you're never going to get there. So we can work with that, and we can shift the way we're saying it. Like, instead of going like, I am a millionaire, and that little part of your mind going, no, that's not true at all. Me saying like, I am practicing opening to receive abundance. The mind goes, okay, I can do that, right? If we are actually doing belief repatterning, we could even go back into all of the subconscious and deconstruct that belief that came up that like, no, you're never going to be, right? And we can be like, I forgive myself for believing that I never could be a millionaire, right? Breathing it in, I forgive myself for believing that I'm not worthy of abundance, right? You can go through and you can shift the underlying belief systems and then input something new with the words. I give myself permission to believe that in a world where anything is possible, or in a universe where anything is possible, becoming a millionaire is a possibility, right? Breathing that in. That feels different than just going like, I am a millionaire. So sometimes you have to kind of hack the system, right? You have to find the correct words to shift that coding that is inside your mind to work around the ego, to work around the things that are already in there. So it gets to be an experiment. It gets to be something that we play with. It can be really fun to also say something after you say it, like anchor it in. And this is borrowing from many old traditions, way back to like saying amen at the end of a prayer, or which comes from like aum or om, which is the word. In the beginning there was the word and the sound and the vibration, right? That vibration that underpins all of reality. But it's fun to, after you declare something, and just be like, and so it is. I am opening to receive more abundance from the universe. And so it is. And it just like locks it in, right? It just feels like it drops it in and anchors it in to the body. So tweaking that wording, tweaking the little things that you're saying can shift and change so much. And I feel like I haven't talked really about it enough. People are like, oh, you can activate my voice so I can speak light language, so I can sing light language. Sure. And also, let's go deeper than that. Let's go into being able to program your voice and connect it to your highest self, your soul, your throat, your heart, like all of your being, and use the tones that come through and the words to be able to clear things out, all guided by your intuition, by the way, to transform, to transmute things. And then once there's spaciousness, to set into motion the energy of the frequency that you would like to bring in, right? This consciously co-creating the reality by shifting our energetic frequency to be a match for what it is that we actually want. It's such a beautiful weaving together of all of our power, but basically there's so much voice activated technology inside of our bodies and in like the universal coding that we can access and play with. It's so much fun. I am currently open to calling in 2 or 3 people that want to play with this on an individual level in a coaching mentorship relationship, so we can practice using our voices, both in like toning, light language, and belief repatterning, and being able to set intention, shift vibrational frequency, and bring forth the reality that, you are designing that is in alignment with the cosmic trajectory. If that feels like something you are into, just message me here. I want to make this a shorter live because I am going to go pick up my daughter, who is a master, by the way, at speaking her truth from her heart and actually creating some shifts and changes in her reality as well. So I love that I have this awareness, so I'm trying not to stifle her magic, and sometimes I have to shift and change things and explain it to her. But just today she goes, I'd really like to not go to after school care today, Mom. Can you pick me up early? Now, I could very easily have gone, no, I need to work. And I'm like, she's really dialed in to what she needs. She is a manifesting machine. We all are. So I don't want to squash her ability to manifest and create the reality of her dreams, because I would like her to be a powerful creatrix, right? Because she's going to do amazing things like all of our children will, because the reality we're creating for them right now is going to be different than what we're in right here and now, right? We're creating something new. So speaking to her and going, you know what? In this particular circumstance, I can make it work. I can pick you up, but then I can't hang out with you. I will have to finish some work. I've got some meetings that I have to do this afternoon. If you're okay hanging out on your own after I pick you up, yes, we can make that happen, right? Her voice, her speaking up and going, hey mom, can this work? Can you do this for me? Actually shifted our co-created reality. Now, it's not a question of giving in to her. It's like, can we co-create something that is mutually going to work for both of us? Can we find win-win? And, it was a long 3 weeks off of school, and it's a big transition back to being at school, from like 8:30 or 9 to 5 o'clock. So, why not? Why not support your children and the people around you to believe that when we can create win-win things and we can work with the frequencies, we can use our voice to create on the micro and also on the macro. We didn't even really talk about that. We were talking all about the personal things now. Your voice is your most powerful creation tool. So I just want to invite you to bring that awareness to it. Notice if you're shitting all over yourself and how that makes you feel. Are the words that you're picking really feeling expanding? Or are they contracting you and making you feel small and tiny? Or are they expanding you and making you feel powerful? Lean into the ones that feel empowering. Lean into the ones that are saying, you know what? With practice, I probably can do that thing, right? You don't have to say, I am doing the thing already. You can just go, I am practicing. I'm practicing opening up to abundance. I am practicing listening to my intuition. I am learning how to use my voice to shift my vibrational frequency and my belief system so that I can co-create a reality that I want to live in, right? I'm playing with all of this. I'd love to play with you too. Let me know if you watched this on the replay, if anything like that, if there was any ahas, any moments of like, oh, maybe I could use my voice more consciously to put things into place that I would actually like to see. It's kind of the whole point. We are these beautiful creator beings. We came here to create. So, creativity is not just the art and the dance and the writing and the prose and whatever, like cooking an amazing meal. Creativity also comes through your voice and the words you speak and what you're putting out into the reality that you're existing in to be a part of creating something that we want to live in, right? We can all do this together. We can all work with it on each other. Tracy's saying, I'm going to stop shitting on myself. Thank you. Exciting, Tracy. So let me suggest, because you're still going to probably do it sometimes. I still do it sometimes, even with years of practice. How about just adding that in? I am practicing noticing when I'm shitting on myself and shifting it, right? Let it be easy and be gentle with yourself as you're starting to really use that tool of your voice to anchor in to create your reality. So if you're just popping on now, I'm heading off. I am going to send you all of my love, and I will be back tomorrow. And I'm just going to say one last thing. I'm going live every day this year. If there's something that you would like to hear me talk about, leave it in the comments. I would love some ideas. I've got tons of ideas, but we are co-creators, and I would love to hear from you. If there's something you would like me to jam on, I would be absolutely honored to do that. So leaving you off with just a tiny bit of light language to anchor this all in from the idea realm into the body. Deshkina ke ati konomaya ke na a heki apa te na ake. Love you.